Welcome back to the show. We got some great stuff lined up for you today. Let's take a look at it. We might have some hanky-panky going on in the Fed. Say it isn't so. Ethereum free pass, J. Clayton disclaimer, and none of it adds up. We got more information for you to look at today. Financial Conduct Authority, U.S. and South Korea, and other regions around the world are all appearing to crack down on regulation for crypto, even China. And it appears that we have some more inconsistency when it comes to the SEC for an open door policy. We're going to get into that and explain. All in all, I think we're experiencing either one of two things here. It's either a global regulatory war on crypto or it's international cooperation. Let's see if we can roll that beautiful intro and figure out which one it is.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today, $1.846 trillion cryptocurrency market cap. We're bleeding heavy this morning, 5.92% off for the collective market cap for crypto here. Bitcoin just over 41,000 at 41,600 plus. Ethereum at 2,800 now for the first time in a while, back down under 3,000. Cardano's holding strong at 214, and we see XRP at 91 cents this morning. It's off by 14+% on a 7-day, and half of that, 7%, in the last 24 hours. Let's look at the price range right here, right now. So it looks to us, we had $1 for a high, $1, 1.0072 for our high on the price range of XRP, and 0.8963 for our low side. We are currently sitting at 0.9032. So we'll keep an eye on that. Remember, we have heard from Dark Defender, CoinsKid, and CoinsKid especially has told us this thing could do a healthy correction and pull back and back test support all the way back to 70 some cents. So 75, 76 cents area. So I would not be surprised if we go ahead and see it pull back that far. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not financial advice from me or anybody else, but this is linked to, ladies and gentlemen, Ripple's back on the board, baby. And so is Uphold. It's been there. And you know what? Keep an eye out from them. Remember what JP Terriot told us, a couple months ago, that they're looking to make a huge either merger, IPO, acquisition, something of that nature. And he even leaned in even heavier than that and said, maybe like 100 million user platform or something. I don't know what it is, but I tell you something, it sounds exciting. So keep an eye out on that. And Kraken and Link2. And by the way, Link2 shares that you get on here, there will be no more. So the ones that are offered are all that are available. So it doesn't mean this time that they won't post more later. My point is they won't be making any new shares. So it's like buying land in Manhattan, everyone. Once all the land is bought, that's it. So you can imagine what happens there. Not financial advice again, but make sure you check it out. Link to Private Investing Made Simple. Let's start right here because this really, really doesn't look good for the Fed and the people in it. An advocacy group, and actually two advocacy groups, call for the removal of Federal Reserve officials over trades while in office. Let's just quickly take a look at this because it basically calls out Kaplan, who was at, I think it was the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank, Robert Kaplan, and Boston President Eric Rosengren. And it says here, participated in large stock trades while setting monetary policy. The news outlet reported, for example, that Kaplan traded stocks in companies including Apple and Amazon, with some trades reaching well into the seven-figure range. Rosengren also made multiple real estate investments, according to the Journal. And the reason they're upset about this, these advocacy groups, is because they said that the federal leaders should resign, telling the Journal that there are a lot of reasons that working people are right to wonder if the Fed has their best interest in mind. These trades are only the most obvious reason, but it makes it harder for the Fed to do its job, he added. Meanwhile, former top Federal Reserve staff member Andrew Levin told the Journal that President Rosengren should immediately resign or be removed from office. and President Kaplan should take administrative leave pending the outcome of an internal investigation of his trading activities. This is quite damning right here. So I'm not going to go any further into it, but I mean, we thought we had trouble in crypto. It seems we got trouble everywhere. And it appears that there should be investigations done on that information and on this information when it comes to Joseph Lubin and everyone involved in the Ethereum nightmare, which has become the ETHgate. Hashtag ETHgate. In 2017, Consensus was able to use the ICOs as an easy, lucrative way to spin companies out and reward internal staff. Here, 1218, Cryptopia in crisis. Joe Lubin's Ethereum experiment is a mess. Well, let me tell you, it's even more a mess in 2021 because thanks to the efforts of Digital Asset Investor and others and John Deaton, what we're seeing out here is really, really compelling for a grand investigation. There's no question about it. It does appear that the SEC, and it doesn't even appear, the SEC chose to have, and I'm going to use the phrase of Hester Peirce here, a decided lack of clarity when it comes to Ethereum. And she didn't use it in that context, but I'm going to use it in that context because it's very fitting. And that William Hinman and Jay Clayton decided to look past the initial coin offering of Ethereum, and it is absolutely a problem because it shows that they're giving favor and a unique advantage to the Ethereum network, that they're now holding a different standard to Ripple and XRP. Quite problematic here. And I really think someone should pull them up and make them have to answer to it. And Gary Gensler too, because this is Gary Gensler's SEC, and he could fix this. He could fix this if he wanted to. He could see the wrong in the approach of this, whether it be malicious or otherwise. And he could fix this and has not. In fact, he's doubled and tripled down. It says here, isn't it obvious by James Rule XRP that May 3rd, 2020, more than 150 Ethereum projects have received nearly $25 million in funding at the time? And this is just shining even more a light on the fact that, hey, if I give you a unique advantage, you could have this kind of success too, right? That's the problem here. You know, you can't pick winners and losers. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. And here in March, former U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Jay Clayton joined One River's Advisory Council and crypto fund manager One River Digital raised $41 million from Goldman and Coinbase. But it doesn't stop there, because take a look at this. I have a little quick clip here from you, and it's from a couple different people, and I thank all of them. And I'm going to show you something else here in a second. But look at this. This is quite damning here. I mean, this really does prompt, it calls for an investigation is really what it calls for in my eyes. And what I want to say is, before you look at this clip, just recently, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, it's all running together for me, Jay Clayton was on CNBC, I believe it was, and you're about to hear him address the fact that we've all been covering the problem with the SEC, the inconsistency, why Ethereum got a free pass, right? And explain, and calling for everyone to explain hashtag ETHgate. And for some reason, he deviates in the interview and jumps right to trying to get out in front of why he was at One River and Apollo without saying the names of those firms. But listen to this.
I'm not going to comment specifically on the case you mentioned, but in terms of my after-government service in the space, what I can say is that the companies that I advise, I don't want to be promoting them, but one is an institutional asset manager, another is a what I would call an infrastructure partner. I did not know these companies while I was in the government. I was introduced to them after I exited, did my due diligence as to whether I would be an advisor, and chose to do so.
February 18, 2021, Apollo appoints Jay Clayton as lead independent director. Again, reported by New York Times, Jay Clayton, former SEC chairman, will join Apollo's board. But it would appear here that Jay Clayton actually was familiar with Apollo, because it shows here January 14, 2020, on the SEC Asset Management Advisory Committee. Chairman Clayton at the time was on that commission and on that committee, and they met with Apollo Global Management. I mean, it's problematic. At the very least, it's problematic. And you make those kind of dig your heel in moments, which he decided to do yesterday. This becomes very problematic because I tell you, this investor space is pretty loaded with some sharp cats. And by the way, shout out to Tim for that clip. And Crypto Law is amazing. If you're not following Crypto Law or John Deaton, I don't know what you're doing. Or Tim, you should be following all of these people. And shout out to TAIG, I think it is here. TAIG, give them a follow as well. And I don't know why I'm not following them, but I'm going to right now. And shout out to all of them for that information that you could see here. I mean, this is what the problem is. Why is there so much drama and so much what appears to be evasiveness? And it's quite clear to me that Jay's trying to get out in front of this thing, but there's problems here. And I don't feel like they have the truth on their side. I really don't. Charles Gasparino, however, tells us here's what he will promise to all of us. And Eleanor Terrett, he says here that he says, I will thoroughly vet any conflict of interest involving current and past SEC officials and crypto regulations. We will be fair and balanced and diligent in our reporting. And I do believe that. And I think there will be a lot more reporting to come. Now, while all of this is going on, and it is an absolute mess, Ripple's got their eye on the ball. Novati is pleased to expand its partnership with Ripple into Thailand. With this, we have partnered with SCB, which is Siam Commercial Bank of Thailand, through RippleNet, baby. Yeah, to process cross-border digital payments instantly through blockchain and XRP. Come on in. Now, that's keeping your eye on the ball. And you know what? And we're keeping our eye on the ball, too, because I don't want to be reporting about what went wrong with regulation and all these things. I just want a level playing field for all of us. I want people to be held accountable for why Ethereum got a unique advantage and we don't. And many other companies and projects have not. That needs to be explained. But once it's explained and we understand it clearly and it's sufficient and legitimate, we need to move on. And I want to move on terribly. My channel is about crypto and how we can all make our own decisions and how we can enrich ourselves and our families' lives. And I want to continue to do that, not financial advice, but that's what I want to be talking about. And just like here, in case you missed it, Bhutan will start testing central bank digital currency partnership with Ripple. Ripple is staying focused on the global agenda, regardless of the quagmire of this SEC lawsuit, which at some point will end. Looking right here, and it looks like they're setting the tone to be ready for when it ends too, doesn't it? Yeah. Now let's talk about this, because we have to wonder if there's a global regulatory war on crypto, or if this is actually showing up now as like international cooperation. Financial Conduct Authority and Bank of England to deploy blockchain for regulatory reporting. The Financial Conduct Authority has been picking up the pace when it comes to regulation alongside many other countries, including the U.S., South Korea, and I want to throw in China, because they just said any digital payment activity is illegal using crypto. That's what they just said. And that is really to put protection out for the digital yuan that they're launching. If we could just cover this right here for the Financial Conduct Authority angle and the Bank of England, it says here, that's why we're working with the Bank of England on digital regulatory reporting initiative. Check this out. By connecting two firms through blockchain and API technology. It's at this point I remind you that we know that the Bank of England has been a partner to Ripple for a very long time. And I'm no computer guy, but API connecting through blockchain technology sounds a lot like side chains off of the XRP ledger. But hey, I'm not Matt, from XRP Ledger, and I'm not David Schwartz by any extent, but that's what it feels like to the layman. And implementing machine-readable and executable regulation compliance checks and can be completed in near real time. Yeah, that's what that sounds like to me. I'm speculating though. SEC is open to discussion when it comes to crypto. U.S. financial regulators, particularly under the SEC, Gary Gensler, intend to introduce a host of policy changes this year that will affect token offerings for DeFi, stablecoins, custody, ETFs, and lending platforms. Now, we've talked about this, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. Treasury is going to be in on all this stablecoin business because stablecoins are private money pegged to government money or pegged to many other assets. They don't have to be pegged to just dollars. They could be pegged to a basket of assets, right? However, we go into this article and we seem to find more inconsistency here. This is from Kraken's Marco Santori, points out the adversarial stance taken by some crypto firms towards regulators, really kind of pointing the finger passive-aggressively at Coinbase here. Santori's comments follows the threats of the SEC earlier this month to sue the well-known crypto exchange over crypto yield program commission deemed to be a security. He says the move sparked exchange's CEO Brian Armstrong to adopt a combative and resistant stance on social media, although the exchange has since announced it will scrap the program at issue in line with the SEC's wishes. It goes on to say here, commenting directly on development, Santori says, I've certainly followed Brian's tweets, and I'll say that, look, you're just not going to be honest with yourself about the crypto community if a little bit of you doesn't think he's saying what a lot of people are thinking. He soon pivoted, however, taking the pain to articulate more pragmatic agenda he is pursuing at Kraken. He says, I can't support that kind of approach with regulators. It never has been successful historically, and from our experience, we've found the SEC to be open to discussion. Really? Why is it that they have no problem having an open door policy with Kraken then? Is Brian Armstrong not telling the truth? Or is this more inconsistency from the SEC? Things that make you go, Because what we know is that Brian has told us publicly here on social media, he reached out to the SEC, tried to get a meeting with them, and they told me that they weren't meeting with any crypto companies. Well, is Brian not telling the truth, or is Mark Santori from Kraken not telling the truth? Because he says we found the SEC to be open to discussion. Brian Armstrong says they told them generally they're not even meeting with any crypto companies. What the hell is going on here? Something doesn't add up. But then we pull back the lens a little bit and see that the Fed is evaluating whether to launch a digital currency, which is a bit of a joke because they're going to. We just don't know when. We also don't rule out the idea that they'll do a public-private relationship. Shout out to Jonathan for this little clip where he tells us that they're also building and invested heavily in a new settlement system. Not just a new payment system, but a new settlement system.
Investing heavily right now in building a new settlement system for instant payments in the U.S.
There you go. Thank you, Jerome. He must have found that 8-page memo he wrote back in 2018 on how to launch a central bank digital currency. Might have been stuck in a bottom drawer somewhere. But then we're looking here and we see on a global effort here, we see Forum backs global standards for crypto asset regulation. I firmly believe what we're looking at now is the international approach through different forums and associations, really urging the Basel Committee to really come together, because if they come together on an international global effort, they can stop these safe haven regions around the world. They want consistency so companies and projects can't flee to other places and avoid the regulatory standard or framework. We see here there's a certain measure of urgency in ensuring that supervised banks can participate in these markets with necessary prudential regulatory certainty while leveraging other existing safety soundness guardrails in the near term or near to medium term. It says here the Financial Services Forum joined Global Financial Markets Association, the Future Industry Association, and the Institute of International Finance, the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, and the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Say that 5 5 times fast. It says, in responding to Basel Committee's consultative document, the prudential treatment of crypto assets exposure. So what you're seeing here is everyone coming together and endorsing this move to adopt international cooperation. Well, that falls in line with September's release from the World Economic Forum about cryptocurrency regulation and industry perspective on insight tools needed to shape balanced crypto regulation. That's right. Brad Garlinghouse, who's being sued by the United States Securities Exchange Commission, is absolutely a co-author on this information, and because he wants to be within the framework of regulation, and they always have been. And Danelle Dixon is also there too from Stellar, and if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to her speak on the space, you are missing a hell of an opportunity. She is one bright person when it comes to understanding this space as well. Look, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Look, PureVPN, 7-day 99-cent trial, help hide your identity online. You got Unstoppable Domains, ladies and gentlemen. All their domains have just been made interoperable with the Trust Wallet. That's amazing. Make sure you go check them out. And then Cold Storage, Ledger Nano, great specials all the time, but you got to click the link. How about crypto IRAs? The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto. Don't believe me? Click the links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.